The video game Palworld has taken YouTube by storm in the last few weeks, with lots of people referring to it as Pokemon with guns, which is what I've always called Digimon, but to be fair, it is a more fitting description for Palworld. And since it's so similar to Pokemon, I thought it would be fun to do a spin-off of my Pokemon as SCPs series and do Palworld Pals as SCPs. But I also thought some other channels that do story and Speedpaint style videos might want to get in on this. And now 4 other channels are making Palworld SCP videos or general Palworld videos to release today, and I cameo in all 4 of their videos. I'll have them linked in the description and pinned comment and talk more about it at the end, but for now let's see my take on Palworld SCPs. Let's go!
Hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like, but either way, enjoy the show.
Good evening and welcome to another lecture on entities that fall into the subcategory of SCP-P. It should be noted that there were some in the Foundation who believed that a new subcategory of SCPs should be created for the creatures we discuss today, but for once I put my foot down. The only distinction made between these and regular subclass SCP-Ps, which I've lectured on multiple times, was that all the entities we'll learn of today are from a set of isles not far from the Galapagos Islands, which has been kept a secret from the public eye. Arguably, some creatures on these isles could even be called regional variants of existing SCP-P entities, but pending further evidence, they are being designated with their own classification numbers. Additionally, all these creatures have proven able to withstand heavy gunfire, and many can even wield common human projectile weapons themselves. But, as plenty of SCP-P entities can already do the same, further subclassification distinctions still prove to be unnecessary. We shall begin today with item number SCP-P3103. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. P3103 is to be housed in a cell with walls, floor, and ceiling reinforced with high-strength concrete, as well as an additional layer of PVC electrical insulation. Field Operative Zoe Rain has managed to create a bond with this creature, and thus far it appears to follow any command she gives. But not enough evidence has been acquired yet to permit it to roam freely about the facility in which it resides. This log will be updated as further tests are conducted. Description: P3103 is a 13-foot-tall bipedal creature that somewhat resembles a large yellow bear. It has short legs but very large arms, leading to broad paws, each with 3 claws. Fur covers much of its body save for its stomach and parts of its arms and shoulder, on which its hide becomes an electroconductive leathery material. It has the ability to create, absorb, and project electricity from its body in various forms, most commonly seen creating orbs of electricity around its head and expelling them towards targets on command. The specimen of this creature we have in containment is one of a full species, as all the creatures we'll discuss today are. It was discovered by the first field team sent to the islands that some in the Foundation have deemed to refer to as the Galapagos Islands, due to their proximity to the Galapagos Islands, and because some have elected to refer to the creatures from this location as PALs. Operative Rain, who has bonded with this entity, has an intriguing story in her own right regarding this location, but to keep it simple for today, she was born on these isles into a syndicate that operates out of the region, once run by her father. She disapproved of how the syndicate treated the creatures on the islands, and eventually set sail off them to find help from the outside world in putting a stop to the syndicate's antics. Her stories of this place were not believed by the authorities in Ecuador where she made landfall, but they were discovered by members of the Foundation, and she was brought in to eventually become an operative leading missions to these islands. On her first venture, she freed the specimen of P3103 we currently have in containment from being abused by the syndicate, and it promptly aided her and other Foundation operatives in taking down the syndicate members present at the time. Surprisingly, despite its lack of opposable thumbs, the creature was allegedly able to lift a minigun found on site and use that to help defeat the present syndicate members. Operative Rain has expressed displeasure in us keeping the entity in a containment cell, but has agreed to let it remain so until she can ensure it will not harm on-site personnel in her absence. Next, we have item number SCP-P3040. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. P3040 is to be housed in a 4 meter by 4 meter containment cell with triple layer steel, concrete, and gypsum walls to prevent the spread of flames created by the entity. Additionally, the reinforcement is intended to prevent significant damage to the cell caused by P3040's horns. Description: SCP-P3040 is a roughly 6-foot-tall semi-humanoid ram with a tail sprouting from its upper mid-back. It is largely black and red in color with a white mane of fur around its neck and beige horns sprouting from its head. Additionally, it has a single bone protruding from its chest, as well as more wrapping around its outer torso. The entity has the ability to project flames from its mouth, as well as spawn a ring of darker crimson flames around itself in a circle to burn any who tread too close to it. These creatures predominantly reside near the southwestern region of the islands, but have been found in other territories as well, whether having wandered there or been taken by those who have captured and or tamed them. They have been known to roam as individuals or in packs, and they are to be actively avoided if seen in a group. They are incredibly territorial and hostile, a dangerous combination when added to their durability and flame attacks. On top of attacking out of defense for their territory, they have also been found to often assault other creatures in the night while they slumber, sometimes attempting to consume them, and others simply seeming to attack for the pleasure of it. This is easier for them to do multiple nights in a row on account of these creatures never needing to sleep. They don't seem to require it for the rejuvenation of energy as most living beings do. There is a variant of these creatures on the islands that has antlers more similar to that of a reindeer in place of the ram-like horns. It is also largely purple in color instead of red. Limited research into the differences between these entities has revealed little, other than a proclivity for the antlered variants to be more likely to target the young of other creatures on the Isles instead of full-grown entities. Efforts are being made to capture one of these variants for further studies, but it could be some time before this is achieved, as they have proven much more difficult to find in the wild. The following entity is not one we have managed to bring a specimen of into captivity, as one of the few of it observed in the wild thus far has been bonded to a particularly frustrating resident of these isles. Prior to discussing this entity, allow me to give you some more context for life on these isles. There seem to be roughly 1,000 residents of the islands, many of whom were either castaways or children of castaways, and many are separated into different factions and syndicates. From the ruins to be found on the Isles, there is evidence of a native population having existed here at some point, but no living trace of them has yet been found by Foundation operatives. Those who are not part of organized groups seem to largely live in isolation or very small communities, often working with tamed entities from the Isles. While taming any of the island's native creatures could be very time-consuming to do unassisted, there are certain blue spheres to be found on the Isles, now classified as SCP-P3000, that can be hurled at an injured entity to capture them, making them loyal to whomever has hurled the sphere after being contained within it for just a few seconds. We have multiple Foundation scientists looking to adapt this technology and test its limits, because alarmingly, they seem to even make humans captured within them become willing to do the bidding of whomever has hurled an orb at them as well. I can see hands going up, so I should head off the inevitable question and state this technology has already been tested on SCP-682, the infamous hard-to-destroy reptile, and no matter how many times an orb was hurled at it, it was always able to escape the sphere before its effects could kick in. Anyhow, with all that set up, allow me to illuminate you on item number SCP-P3106. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. An electricity-proofed cell similar to the one insulating P3103 will be required for this entity, but it may also warrant higher security measures still. Description: P3106 is a 16-foot-tall bipedal draconic entity with flesh of a similar material to that of a killer whale. It is largely white, black, and yellow, with some odd streaks and segments of purple. It has 2 bioluminescent yellow wings whose shape somewhat resembles that of a butterfly, though it has not yet shown evidence of an ability to actually use them for flight. Its body is frequently sparking with electricity, and its combat abilities with this element are similar to that of the previously discussed P3103. While this entity is of a species to be found on the island, it is quite rare to come across and very evasive. The main specimen of this entity our operatives have encountered is one that has been captured and tamed by a resident of these isles named Axel Travers. He is a self-proclaimed rapper who has taken up residency in a tower in the western region of the Isles. He refers to himself and his creature ally as the Brothers of the Eternal Pyre, and even with ample Foundation operatives sent against him, he has proven very difficult to defeat. Travers also seems to very much enjoy his encounters against the Foundation operatives we've sent, as he professes to enjoy a good fight. Though it should be pointed out that it is his ally who does the majority of the actual combat. Attempts to face him have not continued as of late because it has not been deemed to be a priority, but it is possible a mission against him will be conducted again in the future. Finally, for today, I will tell you of the first entity that was encountered by Foundation personnel in the wild who was wielding a firearm. It is not yet clear how so many weapons, many of which were clearly made within the last decade, have made their way to these islands, but regardless of the how, many creatures and beings of these islands are well armed with them. Item number SCP-P3008. Object Class, Safe. Special Containment Procedures. P3008 is to be housed in a standard containment cell. Operatives are to be cautious upon entering if the creature has recently defecated, as it has been known to hurl its excrement, which can cause a small eruption on impact. It is not particularly dangerous, but it is quite unpleasant. And, well, I believe it completely unnecessary to have to specify this in its document. Under no circumstances is P3008 to be given a machine gun. Description: P3008 is a green-furred monkey of roughly 3 feet tall. It has large ears and a tuft of fur on its head that some have claimed resembles a marijuana leaf. In most instances of encounters with these creatures, they have fled upon seeing Foundation personnel approaching, with the one exception being when the currently contained specimen was found. Foundation operatives were attempting to catch another of this species when one of the creatures attempted to fight back with a weapon it had acquired from an unknown source. As a field operative grabbed one of these creatures by the tail, they were promptly struck by fire from an AK-47 gas-operated assault rifle in the hands of P3008. The operative was not fatally wounded as they were wearing protective armor, but their team quickly moved into action to disarm and restrain the monkey. Upon taking its gun, it did quickly show some other combat abilities, such as the power to control the air around it to a certain degree, even make small twisters or blades of air that were able to pierce the outer layer of the operative's armor. Still, the creature was not particularly high-end as far as threats go on the Isles, and was soon restrained to be brought in for further study. There have been other instances of wild creatures on these isles wielding weaponry, but in most cases this only occurs when they have been tamed by an island resident and acquired a weapon through them. Now that is all the time we have for today, but if you have any requests for elaboration on further entities, please leave me with your requests and I shall consider them for future lectures. Thank you, and good night.
I am completely open to doing another round of this, so give me some suggestions in the comments of what other Palworld Pals you'd want to see as SCPs. But remember, if you want to see more right now, a bunch of other channels have made Palworld videos. Videos that I happen to cameo in. I cameo in 3 of them, and Benny Sharp cameos in a 4th. But you'll have to watch all 4 to see which one that is. Dempsey J Illustrations has done Palworld Pals as Venomized SCPs, Nerd Comics Inc. has done Palworld SCPs, Kingpin Creations has also done Palworld Pals as SCPs, and Knight of Arcane, to throw a bit of a twist in, has done Palworld Pals as JoJo Bizarre Adventure stands. Once again, those videos are all linked in the description and the pinned comment. If you like what you see, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and suggestion for a future video, all that kind of good stuff. But besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note, and the thought I want to leave people with today is a quote from Dr. Joe Dispenza, who says that a belief is just a thought that you think over and over and over again until it becomes hardwired in your brain. So if you have some belief about what's not possible for you to achieve, it's very likely that's just because you've had that thought over and over and over. And at any point you can decide to start trying to rewire your brain to believe that so much more is possible for you and your life. I hope that's inspiring. I love you all, and I'll see you all in why am I... Okay. Almost fell over there. The next video on Monday. Anyway, I love you and goodbye.